I'm J9 from Geek My Games, and today I want to talk to you about how to make a game tracker. And what is a game tracker, you ask? Well, it's basically something that keeps track of all the different games that you're playing currently and who is winning the most games. So if you wanted to create a contest or see who won the most times of a certain game that you play, like we like to do in our house, we'll pick a couple of games, put them up on the wall, and then we'll assign a color to each person, and every time they win that game, we'll put a little marker up there of their color, and then we can see over time who wins the most games. And after we get to like maybe 10 rounds, 10 times of playing that game, we'll get rid of that game and put a different one up. This is a very popular thing among gamers, and there are lots of different types of game trackers out there. You can buy them on Etsy, and I've seen them anywhere from $60 to $100 to even $200. And the way that I was doing it, which I'm going to show you today, it's kind of silly and it wasn't really working for us, was not the best way to do it. And so I decided that I was going to buy one of those, but they were really expensive. And I was like, oh, okay, so I guess I'll save up some money and I'll get one of these game trackers maybe on Etsy or something. But then my awesome husband, who is not a gamer, but has played games with me because, you know, I make him. But he is also very talented and very creative. He is also very good with working with tools, and he's an AutoCAD designer for work. So he has made me some really, really cool things for my games in the past. Stuff like a clear dice tower that is sound light activated. So as you put the dice down into the tower, you can see the dice going down. And as they hit, the lights flash on and off, like different colored lights on the bottom of it. I mean, there's so many things. And he designs them all himself. Now, he doesn't want to do a whole bunch of them to sell. So before you even ask, no, I don't have a marketplace and we don't sell these. I'm still trying to convince him maybe one day we'll open them up, because we've had so many people that want to buy this stuff. But he makes one for me, and that's all he wants to make. But who knows, maybe that'll change. Anyway, he saw me looking at these and he was like, oh, that would be so easy to make. And I'm thinking, wood, laser cutter, CNC router. I mean, I don't even know, how I would go about creating some of these, because the one that I really liked was a wooden one that had little meeples that you would put up with different colors every time somebody won a game. And at the bottom and on the side, there were little holes with dry erase boards where you could write the name of the game. And on the bottom, you wrote the name of the person and put their colored meeple next to it. So you knew what person was assigned each color. And I'll show you a picture of that in this video, but I really like that. And I wouldn't even had any clue of how to go about designing that or doing it. But from start to finish, he said, oh, it's not a big deal at all. And I'll go ahead and walk you through what we did up until then, and how he went and took his own design on CAD and went and bought the wood, and then went to Sam's Club and bought the white marker stickers to put in there for, dry erase markers, and how he used his 3D printer to print up the different colored meeples, and then how he went to the library to use the free machines there to actually cut out the different shapes in the wood that he needed to do. So I will walk you through some of that and tell you how to get some of those resources in case you're interested. And if not, it's just kind of funny to see the whole story that I went through and the cool thing that we ended up with, along with my logo at the top, which I really like too. So without further ado, here we go. Oh, before I got the game tracker, this is how I kept track of the games that we used. I used dry erase boards, hung them up, took a stencil for meeples, and gave everybody a different color to put up every time they won a game, and it was best out of 10 games. Some of them have money because I was trying to encourage my family members to play some of the longer games with me, and whoever won the most out of 10 games would get the money. And that worked for a little bit, but it wasn't as pretty as my game tracker. So what you're going to see here is the two thin pieces of plywood that we bought, and the front part of it is where my husband cut out all the shapes and the meeples where we're going to be putting in the 3D printed meeples. And the little squares or rectangles you see is where the dry erase board stickers and cutouts are going to go, so we can write the names of the people and the games on that. The dry erase board is, they come in stickers, and then I'll show you that here in a minute, but all the little meeples that my husband cut out we're going to save as well and probably stay in different colors and maybe use for something. I'm not sure if we're going to use it for decoration for our game room or what, but we'll keep those too. And here we have my extremely talented and creative husband making cool game stuff for me. He's using an X-Acto knife and scissors to cut out the dry erase board stickers and put them on these little wood pieces that he cut out of the wood, and then we're going to put them back in. We decided to do it that way instead of just leaving them cut out and putting it between the two pieces of wood, because that way when I write the games and take them off on the little pieces, they won't leave marker behind on the outside spaces, which I'll show you later on in the finished product, but that's what he's doing. So here's the rest of the video. My husband has a 3D printer and has printed a ton of meeples for me in our family's different colors. This was probably the trickiest part because they had to be exactly the right size for them to stay. You didn't want them too loose where they would fall out. In the beginning, that's what they were doing. Anytime we closed a door in our house, they would fall out and we'd have to pick them up. And if they were too big, then they'd be too tight and they'd be hard to get in and out. So he had to kind of practice with the size on his 3D printer, but finally we got it, and he just printed a whole bunch of colors. And I keep my dry erase board marker in there. And here is the final product. I have it next to my thing that I have hanging with all my paper and stuff there, so that's what you're seeing. But as you'll see, it looks pretty good. I have all my list of games there on the left, and we add the meeples, and the colors with the people's names are on the bottom, so you can see what games we're playing and who's winning the most. And it looks like somebody went and put a meeple there. I didn't even see that. Well, I don't want to do it with one hand, but somebody stuck one in there. So, and that's our final product. I think it looks pretty good. I love my logo across the top. These guys here are very easy to take out. You can see them moving even. They're very easy to take out. They don't fall out though. They're very easy to take out. That way I can clean them really well and change the name of the game at any time that I need to. And that's pretty much it. So it was probably a lot of work for my husband, not so much work for me, but I absolutely adore it and we use it all the time. So there you go. One way to geek out and keep track of your games. And remember, don't just love your games, geek your games.